Good morning, welcome back to the garden. Today is Saturday, May 6th. And you know what that means. We're going to do a quick review of this garden, then we're going to go to you and celebrate what's going on in your garden. And if you're new to this channel, you're in for a real treat. Saturdays are reserved for you and celebrating what's going on in your garden. This is where we get inspiration, this is where we get motivation, this is where we get ideas. And this morning we've got an extra special treat. We're going to deliver some tomatoes and sweet potatoes to a good friend of ours and take a look at their beehives. So come on. So we're going to find a new home for the amaranth. That's growing nicely. These need to go in the ground. And I found a home for these also. And we're going to throw in a few sweet potato slips. The beets that we planted in December, we're going to let these go to seed. We're going to keep all of this tall so that the praying mantis have some place to hide when they hatch. And the Swiss chard that we planted last summer, it's finally going to seed. Early morning with the dew coming on, the lines of tomatoes are just awesome. They're growing well. We might actually get grapes this year. The cabbages that we planted in the front cold frame are doing really well. Got a bunch of strawberries set in here.
As much dandelions as I can, because that's their first source of pollen and nectar.
Michael, this is interesting. Can you explain to us what's going on here?
Yeah, so I just have a 1-to-1 sugar water mix. We came out of a really rainy and dreary week last week, so the stores were a little low when I did a hive inspection, so this is just to supplement the hives for this week.
So is this just kind of getting them going for the spring? Is this what's going on here?
Yeah, so this time of year, their numbers can either 2x or 3x for the honey flow and the nectar coming in. So they're going to have a lot of bees really soon, and they just need to have enough food to support the numbers that they're going to put on.
Now when you say they're going to have a lot of bees, is that eggs or something in the hive that is hatching? Is that how that works?
So this time of year, the queen is laying a lot of eggs, and the eggs will turn into larvae and then hatch, and that's about a 20-day cycle. So about a month from now, and through the beginning of summer, the hive will be at full capacity. So we're just making sure that they have enough nectar and supplemental feed to get them through the summer.
That is excellent. Now I see you have beets up already. Has anybody ever said you can't have enough beets?
No, we love them.
We've got a couple candidates to go to seed, it looks like. That's great.
Yep.
Your potatoes look good. Spinach is doing really well. Your radishes are coming up really well. Well, let's go look at your raised beds.
Yep.
Kale and romaine lettuce and leafy lettuce.
Yep.
You got a beautiful setup here.
Thank you. We've been working on it over the past couple of years, trying to get it just how we want it.
And I know you just checked the hives yesterday, so we're not going to disturb them this morning. But this is a really nice setup.
Thank you. So when we started the year, we had 2 hives, and now we're up to 6. So from the 2 hives that we overwintered, they came out of last winter extremely strong, and they were wanting to swarm. So instead of having a swarm of bees go somewhere and set up shop somewhere in the neighborhood, we split them. So that's how our 2 became 4. And then we actually had 2 swarms from somewhere else land right here in our backyard. So I captured those 2 swarms. Both of them had queens, so those were 2 free hives that we got on top of the 2 that we already split earlier this year.
So this is an excellent way to make honey. It's also an excellent way to pollinate your garden.
Yep.
About how many bees are there in total, do you think?
It's really hard to say. Gosh, for the single boxes, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 a hive, and the double boxes, maybe double that.
This is just amazing. So how much honey do you normally produce out of a hive?
So last year was our first year, in your first year of beekeeping is that you don't get honey, and your goal is to build up your single deep box that you purchase into a double box, and you want to fill that with as much pollen, nectar, honey for the bees to support them over winter. So we had 2 hives that overwintered successfully. We had to split those this spring, so that set them back a little bit for honey production early on. But we expect still to get honey this year. I can't tell you exactly how many hives will produce honey, but for the ones that do, a rule of thumb around this area is around 2 to 3 gallons of honey a hive.
Well, we look forward to tasting that. I'm going to hold you to it. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I made it back. The benches look pretty empty. Michael's going to update us as he plants out what we gave him. And then the new member that I met, when he and his family gets his stuff planted out, they're going to update us, and I'll introduce you then. But wasn't that a great setup that Mike had? Well, let's go ahead and celebrate a couple more contributors to this channel. Let's welcome a new member to our community. Kaylin wanted to show us how it's done. This is terrific. Thank you for sharing your tomato garden, and welcome to this community. Mike and Linda's deep mulch garden has kicked into high gear. As the zones further north start planting out, we see what we have to look forward to. Your garden is absolutely beautiful. You know how many beans you're going to have? Thank you. Keep us posted. Weren't those incredible? Leave a comment down below and let everybody know how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on in their garden. Now right here is that patch of indeterminate russet potatoes. They're coming up really well. When they get a little higher, we're going to go ahead and mulch them some more. Then we're going to compare those with these other potatoes. I got 1 russet right over here. I got actually 3 russets right over here coming up. We're not going to mulch them anymore. And we're going to see what produces better. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more of our contributors. Denise is back in the game after that Oklahoma City twister a couple weeks ago. Seeds are sprouting. Purple potatoes are going in this weekend. Excellent job bouncing back, Denise. We look forward to your updates this summer. Larry's North Carolina garden is setting beans, is setting peas. Is setting more beans, is setting more peas. It looks like you're going to have an awesome harvest, Larry. Thank you. Keep us posted. Walter's finished planting out his deep mulch garden. Tomatoes around that in-ground worm composter. The cucumbers along the trellised wall. And like last year, the jalapenos will go into buckets. Walter, that's an awesome bug catcher that stopped by. Thank you, and keep us posted. Those are fantastic, and welcome to our community. It's gone from 1 week past frost to 90. And we've got some plants that are feeling the stress a little bit, but as soon as it cools off this afternoon, these will all perk right back up. You got a plant that's pulling its leaves back, whether it's a tomato, whether it's a squash, all it's doing is trying to protect itself from respirating too much water. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more of our contributors. Art has been busy. He's been planting, he's been mulching, he's been pulling odd squishy yellow things out of his garden. I believe Art's helper is insisting that they try to grow some toys. Thank you, Art. Let us know how that toy grows. No, your garden is beautiful. I misspoke last week. Jim's only the muscle. Avery has the green thumb. And her first time raised bed garden is off to a great start. Keep us posted and welcome to this community. We're excited for you. Bruce has been very busy this week, but wanted to drop by with this morning's take from his food forest. Bruce, I can't wait to taste fresh tomatoes. Those look just beautiful. Thank you, Bruce, for giving us something to look forward to. I'm telling you, those are inspiring. And I invite you to become one of this community and help inspire people around the world to grow their own food. Now you see we got some shade here, and this is where our peppers are. You would think peppers, hot peppers, really like it hot. They need 6 hours of good sun, but they really kind of like it shaded off in the afternoon. They produce much better that way. Hit that like button. If you hit that like button, it would let YouTube push this out to more people that might be interested in learning how to grow a garden. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one of our contributors. Rick has just finished planting 50 tomatoes and 30 peppers in his deep mulch, raised bed, bucket garden. You check all the boxes, Rick. This is absolutely incredible. Potatoes, cabbage, spinach, red mustard, and that string trellis. This is a great example of using all kinds of different materials to accomplish the same thing. We can't wait to see this fill out. This is wonderful. Thank you, and keep us posted. Wasn't that great? Right here's an example of some leaves that are looking pretty saggy, but I'm going to show you something. We moved just a few feet away in the shade, and these have perked right back up. Got our ladybugs out here working. I haven't seen a praying mantis yet, but they're still small. Let's go on down to Texas and take a look at what Valerie has going on in her container garden. If anyone tells you that growing in a container is not worth your time, all you have to do is introduce them to Valerie. Not only do containers produce an abundance, in some ways they're even easier to manage than traditional gardens. She said she has enough right now that she's sharing with friends and neighbors. And that's why we do it, because it tastes great. Has anybody said you can't have enough beets? Valerie, those beets are fantastic. Some of Valerie's tips are just genius. Like this week's tip. Look how she's using a pool noodle. It's a cushion for the squash. You cut a section, you put it on the lip of the container, and it acts as a cushion for your squash. Valerie, thank you. Your garden is simply blessed. I do invite you to join us. All you have to do is email me a few photos of your garden at waylandsmalley5@gmail.com. The address is in the description box below. I guarantee you all of the gardeners would love to see what you're doing at your house. This is where we gain inspiration. This is where we get motivation. And this is where we get ideas. An update on our poor little basil that I planted first that got frosted off twice. Those leaves turned black. We just pinched them off and it's doing great. You can do this too. And I do invite you to become a member of this community. It's just a loose-knit community of people that like to get their hands dirty and grow things that taste good. There's no commitment. Once in a while, send a photo in of your garden, help inspire people around the world. I do thank you for stopping by and helping celebrate some of our friends and neighbors. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.